Hello, I am shooting this video today because I want to talk about something that is bothering me. And it's all these politicians talking about the middle class. All you hear about is the middle class this, the middle class that. The middle class lose their jobs, the middle class are suffering, the middle class this. But what about the poor people? The poor people are the forgotten people. All they talk about are the middle class and the rich. But there's poor people who are making minimum wage, barely surviving, and they're worried about the middle class? Somebody making $50,000, $60,000 a year? There's people in this country who are lucky to make $25,000 a year. Nobody talks about them, do they? These stupid politicians, that's all they care about, are the middle class. And I admit the middle class is the majority of the country. I'd say 60% of the country is in this category. But what about the other, people that are the forgotten poor people? The forgotten people who are having trouble finding jobs or having trouble finding the help they need to get by. There's people living on food stamps and can barely survive. People make minimum wage. They can't survive either. Even people making $10 an hour are below the poverty level. This is ridiculous. Why is it that these stupid politicians only care about the middle class? They need to step up and think about the poor people, because those are the people who make this country. They are the ones going to work every day, busting their humps on no money, minimum wage, $7 an hour, and they're the ones that are the backbone of this country, and without them, we wouldn't have a middle class. And the middle class need to watch out, because if something happens to them, they're going to be down there, and they're going to need that assistance, and they're going to be the forgotten people. The poor people are the forgotten people. We need to get this word out, because the country is not more than the middle class, or it is more than the middle class. There are poor people, people who are suffering, people who can't even survive a day, and people who are wondering if they're going to make it the next day. Middle class people? There's poor people. There's a lot of poor people in this country, and they need to be heard. And I'm one of these poor people. I don't have a job. I hardly have any money. I barely get by. So there are so many people that are like me, the forgotten poor people. You have the rich people, and they don't even need the money. You hear about them, but not too much. You have the upper 10% of the people that are rich. You have the lower 10% that are very poor. And you have the middle 50-60% of the country, which, like I said before, is the majority of the country. But seriously, if you're poor, you're screwed because you're forgotten. And it shouldn't be that way. It's the poor people that these politicians need to be worrying about, not the middle class. I get sick of this term, and I didn't even know where this term even came from. All we hear is middle class, middle class, middle class, middle class. It's ridiculous. There's poor people, people who are making less than $50,000 a year, and nobody cares about these people. And anyways, that's just my thoughts on this. It really makes me angry that they worry about the people in the middle when it's the people on the bottom that need the most help. Because if the bottom falls, the whole thing's going to collapse. Think about that. Without the poor people, we wouldn't have a country, because these are the hard-working people in this country that bust their humps every single day. Without the poor people, we wouldn't have a middle class. These are the backbone of this country. And the politicians need to wake up and say, let's help these people. We got people that are on welfare, that are on food stamps, that are on Social Security, barely able to make it. So, thank you for listening, and have a nice day.